listeners, Harika here, and I'm super excited to welcome you to UppTalk. If you're ready to learn and get your hands work wonders in the world of information technology, then you're in the right place. When I say UppTalk, we are not just another edtech company. Consider we are your learning partner committed to unlocking your full potential. Whether you're stepping into the world of technology for the first time or looking to advance your career, we provide top-tier, hands-on courses to build up your career. Let's take our first step towards learning here and explore it.
So, Venkat, can you quickly catch me up what we did last time? Yes, actually last week what we learned is global error handler. That one we learned, and splitter, why we use the splitters, and XPath, how we identify the XPath in XML elements. And also we learned aggregators. Aggregators is nothing but ClubArts XML, and aggregators will be used in inbound integration. And then we learned evolve. Hold. We didn't learn the aggregators. I had put a stop on it. I'm going to explain afterwards. Yeah, you just gave a high level of what we use. And mobile basic functions how we do in the XPath. Alright? So I don't think so. I have shown you any kind of PMS point integration message. So let me start from that. I think these are going to give me some errors. So let's copy them in the test so that we don't see any errors. We have log. We saw how to output the properties variables. Right? We don't know how to output that. Yes, how to print that in the log once we do that. So let me quickly show you what a PM is. So when Kurt, I think you have already seen any integration message on an integration. So you learn like CC2EBs. Have you ever seen any integration message? Integration message means in the log file, you mean no, on the event page. On the event page, yes, we'll get that notification, right? The integration message. That's notification is a different thing. So notification comes via emails. Okay, and then another notification is there, which I think you are referring to the notification workday. But that's not quite what I'm talking about, okay? Okay, let me show you something. Why this RDP is very slow? So basically this eval function, as you mentioned last week, right? Because we have only 2 records. We practiced. And then also you gave an example that let's say there is a 600 to 1000 records in XML. And we tried to find out which name we want to identify or which employee ID we have to validate in that incoming XML into our Workday system. the specific employee ID we want to identify. So in that case, during the validation, we have to identify a particular employee ID. That's how we have to do the validation, like the random email, random employee IDs, or random names, like that. No. So I'm going to answer this question in this particular class itself. Okay, but first of all, how to reach that? So I'm just building, footsteps to live. So this is like one of the event from my last integration class. Alright, so do you see this tab messages? Yes, yeah. Or you see this number of errors like, so these are integration messages. What do you see on integration event? Okay. So like this is an error or this is an information, okay. So these are integration messages, but if you would look at any of our integration event, you would not see any message. I so see most of them are completed, right? Not with errors or not anything. Even if I open any event, I don't think I remember seeing any message. Apart from this, so this is like default message attached to every studio event. That's why Workday. So this, as we mentioned clearly before, that Studio is one of the customized integration you have, I mean with CCW and EIB. You cannot customize maximum of the stuff. It's mostly configurable. So you understand the meaning of customizable and configurable. Yes. So with Studio, it's both customizable as well as configurable with other integrations. It's only configurable, alright. So if I want to add any particular message to my CCU event, I cannot do it. But if I want to add any message to my Studio event, I can do that, and that too with very ease. Okay, so I have put a global error handler, and this is also a PM. So this particular component is called put integration message, or in short we call PM. Okay, what it does is it provides a message to the integration event. That's it. Nothing else is its work. It will do it okay. So we can either search for it. Okay, so I think it should be in common components. So like this is here, put integration message. I will just put it here. Drag it here. Okay. So see, this is going to ask me what should be severity of my message. And summary means what I'm going to explain here. Okay, now deliverable label. This is something we will come back at a later stage. This is also very important, which many people ignore. Okay, so normally when you will learn Studio from anyone, they will just say, okay, click on finish without actually letting you know that. Okay, these are also some parameters and they have some meaning. Okay, so we will come back to the deliverable label. We will come back to it later and somehow, if you have forgotten. So let's say we only selected severity and summary, but you want to select one more property. Now the only way to do it for beginners is you click on plus here. You write the name of that property and you put its value. But do you think, is it possible for you or anyone to remember the properties like this is dot message, dot summary? Not right. So basically, this is not the way we do it. We will go to select parameter. Okay, we can select the property we want to add. Okay, for example, I want to add a document deliverable. See, the property is already here. It could have been done the both ways. Okay, so if I would know how to name this property, I would have done this way also. Let me delete that one. So see, so both the properties are same. There is nothing different. It's just the preferable way of doing it. Okay, so as a consultant, as a trainer, I would always suggest go for the selection option where you wouldn't face any typing issues or something like that. So, okay. Now, if you hover your cursor over these values, it can tell you what all values you can put or how you can put. Okay, so they are saying that if you want to put any string, this is the way you do it. Okay, you put the string in a single quote and plus then your variable name. And then again, if you want to put more string in single quotes, okay, this will make more sense when we will try to catch an employee. I will show you how it will make sense. So for beginners, let me tell you. So there can be only 4 severity levels. Okay, this is not just specific to Workday. This is specific to any log globally. So any log file you see globally. There are going to be only 4 severity levels. One is info, one is Viva, and one is error, and the last is critical. Critical. Yeah, right. You must have seen this. Okay, a catch. The key point is this always have to be in uppercase. They always have to be in uppercase. You cannot use mixture of lowercase, uppercase or lowercase. No, nothing in lowercase is allowed as far as severity is concerned. Okay, so let's say I want to give an informational message. Info. Okay, now if I want to put out any message, I will put that in summary in single quotes because that's how it will treat it as a string. So hello world. This is just an information message. Okay, I can change the severity and I can bring it that as an error. Okay, when you see that this small component, although it has only one function to output the message to integration event, but it will also change the integration status along with it. Now let me show you that. Or let me deploy this. So let's run our integration again. See, now the messages have turned to 4. Right, yeah, it's no more one message. So it's hello world, hello world, hello world, hello world. Okay, Venkat, tell me, why do you see 4 messages here when I had only put the put integration message for one time? I aspire your understanding till now. Why do you think what could have caused the looping around this particular component? One is for the log on is for the login log message. And another one is the global error handler that we configured to notify. No, you're going to the wrong path. Let me correct you here. So you're not seeing 4 messages for like each message for each component. No. So okay, let me do this. Let me copy it. Let me put it here. Actually put it here. We connect this to here. Let me put the message which integration has started. You see this message only once, but this message again 4 times. So let's look at the studio. Why do you think that this is happening? Every integration has a first step is initiation, right? Initiation step. So after that initiation step has triggered, only then the control passes to my start. Okay, or this is basically starting a workday. Now, what do you think could be the reason? No, I can't think. Notice. So remember, I told you when we split. Okay, so this also works as a loop until or unless it has processed all the records given to it in the message. This will keep running until the last record. So here we are sending how many records to it? 4 calls, right? Which is why everything that comes after the splitter will be executed 4 times. If I remove this one record, let me show you this remove this one record. Save it, deploy. This time you will see hello world thrice only. Makes sense, right? Right. So this sounds like, oh, in this case, for example, let's say in an organization we do thousands of records. When we get the incoming messages. So in that case, let's say if it is like 2000 or 4000 records, most of the cases it should be more records. Right. So in that case, like it can be 10,000. So we can get that 10,000 messages like each record. It should be get that message like in the loop. So what you are aiming for when that is more sort of an audit file, like so as a client. Let's say you want to know what happened to each record. So if an employee has processed or passed successfully, you want to know, okay, whether this was processed or successfully or not, or if it had failed, then what was the reason of the failure? Right? This is what you want to know. Am I right? Right? Yeah. So we are going to do that, okay. So basically for that work has introduced something called a cloud log. But I'm going to walk you through the traditional way, how we used to do that before cloud log. Now another one thing I want to tell you, and this is very important. If you want to write it down, you can. There is a limit of integration messages on a particular event. I cannot see more than 500 integration event messages on one integration event. Maybe the limit has been revised to 1000. I'm not sure, but there is a limitation that's something we call as definite. There is some limitation, either 500 or 1000. But after those, you will not see messages. So consider your example. There were 10,000 cases. How would we know what happened to the rest of 9,500 cases? We could only see messages for first 500. You know? So that's when Workday had to think and come up with a solution and then introduced a component called Cloud Log Component for audit files specifically. Before that. So we will come back to audit file. Don't worry, I'm just trying to move in sequence so that you don't miss anything. So, before audit file, what I want to teach you is how we should do it the traditional way. So basically, we used to create something. We will have to create an event here. And we have to write two expressions. I have not done this in a long time. So apologies if I don't get it right in first time. But mostly we'll get it. So you see there are two expressions which I'm using here, right? So this is how we used to log it as like earlier in traditional way before we know something called as cloud log, and cloud log is very recent. It just came like 2 or 2 years ago. But before cloud log, this is how we used to, take care of our logs and our error file, and this is how we should do it. So let me do it this way first. Okay? We will create two. What was the name? So we'll say props. Is equal to trouble. So, Venkat, since you are new to Workday and I think you don't have much experience with Java, I would have explained some, really interesting fact over here. So, basically, if you are aware, like, do you know the concept of string? Like, what is string? Yeah. String is nothing but a group of characters. So, string and like. String in Workday. The studio is based on Java. Okay, so string in Java is immutable. Do you know and understand the meaning of immutable? It cannot be changed. It cannot be altered. Once it's defined, it's defined. So, like in proper Java terms, each time we create a new string, it creates a new object. So what we did here is now when we wrote some message over here, this hello world, This is a string object as of now. This is in Java. Okay, and Workday is using an inheritance from Java. That's why it's acting the same. So basically, this is nothing but just a string object. Okay, but we are declaring here something called a string buffer. Okay, the reason that is I can basically string buffer is something which can be changed, which can be altered, and it's not immutable. Okay, so if you go to Google and if you search like difference between string and string buffer, so it's very common interview question for Java people. Okay, so this is the main difference, although it will not. It's not of much importance to you, but still want to make you understand like why we are using string buffer and not string. So if I would have used a string here, there was no way I could have added, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to concatenate or append. Append or concatenate is something which is not possible with only string. It's possible with string buffer, and that's because of Java. It's not something more. The studio has done its own for its own. It's inherited from Java. So what we have done is we have basically declared them right. We have declared them. We have not initialized it. Okay, so after splitter, what I'm saying is okay after you split. What I'm asking you is add what happened with your record. Okay, as of now, I'm going to only use the success log. So this is how we use dot append with the method. Okay, again we are using the string and you see this plus, then this is something variable name. So this is what I was talking about earlier. We see. I'm just going to copy okay. Append and I'm going to say this record was processed successfully. Okay, and which record I want to say? I want to ask you which record so I can use my employee ID right. So I can say this record and I can ask you to identify for employee ID. Okay, now I'm not using employee ID inside codes. Why? Because this is a variable, right? The compiler can understand it as a variable. It knows that wherever it finds this props, it will have to replace with the value it contains. But the same is not true for this record has was processed successfully. This is just a string. This is human understandable string. This is not computer understandable. So whatever you don't want computer to understand, you just put that in single code and it will not even try to understand what it is. It will just print that as it is. Okay, so what we are doing here is when good is each time the splitter runs, we are going to append into success log. Okay, now your initial question was G. I mean, if we are processing 1,000 records, how am I going to remember what happened with each record? So this is basically making a note of it. Okay, this is basically making a ledger, like I am basically meant each time. Okay, what happens is each time a splitter will run, it will only send one employee entry. Right? For each employee entry, I will have some name. I will have some employee ID, right. I will have some name. I will have some employee ID. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add them or record them the next time it comes. These props will be overwritten. Right will be with these will be overwritten with new values. But is that true for the success log? No, this will not be overwritten, but this will be concatenated with the existing data which we had provided. That is why we are using the word append. The English meaning of word append is add to the existing thing. Right? And this is only possible if you have declared this as a string buffer. It's not, you can just go. Okay, G, we did not declare this process name, but still it's able to hold some value. That's by default nature. You want something extra. You have to write something extra for it. You want an extra functionality. This is the way you do it. Okay. So in the log, I'm just going to print the string buffer. Okay. Okay, so I think this was a perfect example to explain what I was trying to explain. So the first employee ID was 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Right. Did we have all the same employee IDs? No, we have a different employee 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 8, 7, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So the first record 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it depends. So this does not overwrite what was present earlier, rather it depends. This record was processed. The employee ID is 9876. Now 1, 2, 3, 4. Again 9876 and then again 1, 2, 3, 4. Got it. So this is going to repeat for 1000, right? This is going to repeat for 1000, 1000, 1000. Yes. So how you should do is now this is more sort of a, you can say, error file for me, right? This is what an error file for me. Okay, after my splitter is done. Okay, after my splitter is done, I want to store the error file. Okay, but I want to do this only once. I do not want like my file to get stored 4 times. So how can I do that? I mean, anything I add after this we're gonna run each time the splitter runs. So I want to avoid that kind of scenario. How can I do that? So we can do that using the local in and local out. We have already covered that. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy as of now, or I can just put any which ways. So instead of routing here, I'm going to put a local in. Okay, and I'm going to put another local in. Just name for simplicity's sake. So this will say process file. And what's this gonna do is this is gonna save file. Okay, so I'm gonna add one async here. So normally this is how we do, like we will do mostly copy and paste, right? So once you have a fully fledged CLAR, all you are going to do is copy and paste. And you will make your life easy. So what I want to do here is, okay, I want to save a file. So before that I want to put local outs. One local out here. Put one local out here. We will say this process file. Process file out. We will say this save file out. Okay, so we're gonna select some endpoints for them, which is process file finish. This one is save file. Finish and save. So now what's going to happen is okay. Now when I will say my this start, okay, I'm calling that my start because I kept the name. Okay, so when the integration will be started, this will send the first message to this local out. And until the processing of this whole local out has been completed, it will not call another local out, right? That's how it processes. Right. So have I or have I not saved myself from repetitive tasks of a splitter? So if I write some task in this, this is going to only execute when this whole of process has been completed. So I mean one, my splitter will complete. Only then this whole process will be completed, and then the message will pass you this component, and this will proceed only once. Okay. So I'm going to use a step copy. So copy properties. Now I want to take the input from a variable. Right. What's my variable name? It's success log, success.log. Okay, and I'll put that as message. I want to see whether this is working or not. Several put a log here. So clog is used for debugging purpose. Now I'm not sure whether my this step is going to work or not. So I'm going to print message in the log. This is going to say after copy. Okay, I'm going to delete this log from here. You don't need that. Now this must be looking very messy to you, right? Right? Because I don't know as a beginner, as a learner, to understand the studio, and then which component has to link to which one, and then where I have to write the variable, and where I have to put the eval functions, and all the values and all that. Yes, it looks messy. It looks messy. So what we do to make it organized is we use another component called swim lane. So going to explain your swim lane before we move to the next step. Okay, you put the swim lane. Okay, now what does the property of the swim lane says orientation, horizontal alignment beginning. We can change it. Okay, I will show you. Let me put start here. So whenever I will drag my component, okay, it will put a cursor. You will see. Can you see this cursor? Yes, yeah. This cursor means that this is going to place my component at this position. In the same lane, if I drop right now. If I want to put it here, I mean, it's up to you. It's how you can customize. So let's put it here and let's put this one here. So we call this high level. Right? This is high level overview. This is not digging deep in your integration. So this has made, and then you can use, obviously, some color fonting and everything you want to do. You can do this as middle. Okay, so you can do this as a middle beginning according to you. If this is vertical, this becomes like this. If it's horizontal, it goes like this. I mean, you can just fiddle around with the properties. You can use a fill color. So, for example, this is change the color right mix. Looks a bit organized than previously. Yeah, then let me put another sim lane which says process records. Okay, let me what's the first step in here. This is food. Then I'll put it here. Okay, I don't know how it looks. So, okay, here. Here, and then here, right? So let's give this another color. What can we give? Let's give this a touch of yellow. Okay. So we normally put global error handler at down. You want to put that in a sim lane or not? That's up to you. I normally do it. So put another. We can say it's so fine. Okay, put it here. Put this one here and we give it also one color. What was the color should I give? Okay, let's get this color. Sorry, we can give the color. No problem. No problem. Okay, so you say green. Give the color green. So now does your studio looks organized? Yeah, this is how your code should look like so that anyone who is looking at your code should be able to understand what's happening. So now I can say that your studio will start from here, then it will go here, then the until or unless this whole has executed. It will not go here. Okay. So this way I am saving myself from a file getting generated each time a splitter runs. So let's deploy it. Let me see if that copy works. After cloud log. We are not doing that any longer, so I don't remember. Maybe we used to use a variable. But let's see. I have a quick question that is there any way that we can change that reset time in our day, the tenant? Yeah, we can do that. And that property is the profile. We can do that, but I cannot tell you how to do it. Because if I do that, you can do other stuff. And that won't be good for Cloud Foundation. I hope you can understand. But anyways, I normally do it with. They don't give us. Oh. So which user do you log in as I log in? Because they give this customized to what you call. I have to load something. I think they didn't provide me what you call user ID and password. They just do so. You must be logging in as someone, right? On your welcome page, you would be seeing something. So do you see this person? Jip Jip Julie Bowles. Because they keep changing. That's why I have another one. Actually, I think that copy step is not working. Yeah, I can step ID copy. Okay. You will. You log in as Jacqueline, okay? Yeah, so I think you failed to notice that error. Did you see that? Critical caught by global error, handle emptiness. I think I'll be on step by the coffee. Yeah, so this could not do that integration. You got for you. Now we will use our engineer brain. We know how to generate a message right. Do we or do we not? Come on, tell me. Do we know how to generate a message or do we not? Yes, so message content. Right, so we can use a write. If something I can use in the log, I can definitely use that same thing in the write as well. No, so this is my message content. I do not want message content. I am creating my own message. I'm going to use a text. I'm going to use text and with this variable. So what do you think is going to transfer from this write to this log? What will be the message of this log? Come on, Venkat, speak up. We have done so many things now. Yeah, so it transfers the whether the message is successful or not in this variable success log. It's going to be written as a message by this write. Right. Take that. Let's go. Okay, so basically, when we write a message, it casts a string and this is given exception. We are using a string buffer, so this cannot be done that way. Alright, I know there is some other method to do it. Okay, we will check that later. But I want to do now is I want to show you a store component. Okay, so this one is a store. Okay, what it does is it will attach the file to your integration event. So let's say I want to see what is getting generated by CSU to XML. You can put a store here. You can say input is message, output is message, or you can do output as variable anything. Let's have you put output as variable CSV output. Say you want what's the name of the file you want to give. So I want to say test file.csv or cssu text. One is going to give us XML. So this is the name of the file I'm going to use, okay? Or like we normally do is we have one working studio. We will just copy and So this is how basically we give the file name. Okay, and you know what this is? Peak second, what this expires in means. No, this is an expression. So you have worked on integrations. Do you have any idea what we can say? Document retention policy is yes, we have 60 days, 30 days, and 90 days, and then maximum is 180 days. Yes, that's exactly this document retention policy. So when you store and file to an integration event, you can define its document retention policy. So 6M means 6 months. It's just a syntax. How do you write that? Okay, so P6M means a 6 month. You can write one at P180D, P30D. That's 30 days, so an 80D either, which is 6 times 3M. That's months. That's 10 days, 30D. That's 30 days. Okay, what is P stands for? Okay, period. Okay, if you have 6 months. Okay, so let's see whether this is working or not. I know this is going to give an error, but that's okay. We'll still see the word before that. We want to see our file is stored or not. So we want to run our integration again. Okay, we don't care whether it's giving us an error, but do you see something in this output file tab? This was you until now, right? Yes, but now we have a file. We just try to an example. Yeah. Why? Because we saved the file for the, yeah. So say that pretty print OK. So this is how our CSV to XML looks like. We just saved it, right? Got it. You understand now. So Venkat, I have one master activity for you. It's gonna take 2 hours at least. I mean, if it's done earlier, that's fine, but it's something we have to do it in class. I mean, since you are a privileged student and you have opted for 45 hours, I should be there to monitor it, monitored. Oh, otherwise, we just give it as a homework and most people still have struggling. No, most people don't do it. Most people have issues and we cannot take everyone's job in the class when we do it in a batch. Since you are like privileged one. You are doing one to one. What we are going to do is I'm going to have that live with me. So when do you have time? Tomorrow, why not today or now? I think it's on 15. So what out is basically, okay, this is something for your conditional statements. So many times you have a scenario, okay, if this is a do B, if this is C, do D, right? So you have multiple condition statements like this. So for example, if in our case we had something called another factor called H, right? And let me give some, so you are 35. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's fine. That's right. So I read this 30. That's 1 is 25. Okay, now I wonder, oh no, we have to give one. 16. So we want to know who is an eligible voter. Let's say this is a requirement. We want to know who out of our file is an eligible voter. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to create a strategy again. Okay, now these are different types of strategies available. So after them, we will cover one loop strategy and one mail strategy. Okay, and I'm telling you, this will like there is something called all strategy. Also, you will understand when you will start working with one of them. So what ML strategy is. Now, just like eval, we have something called ML. I told you other day, like it's validate expression. We spoke about that. Yes, we have not seen how that works, but we did spoke about ML. So this ML strategy, you see that it creates the choose route. Okay. Now I will create one more. Now this has asked me to give an expression. And if that expression is true, what do I do? If that expression is true, what do I do? So let me delete this message. Let me add one more, and this is we will figure out the age. So props age and employee entry, we use the column. Expert also, we have to change, right? Yeah, I was just copying. Okay, right? Yeah. So I will put this route here. Okay. We will use two asyncs after this. Now see, I want to use this async so that this async comes below this one. But I cannot do it. I cannot move it anywhere because this is in swim lane and swim lane property does not allow it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play smartly. I'm going to use swim lane inside a swim lane. I can do that, right? Okay. So the property of this swim lane is vertical and middle. So now you see the cursor comes down, not on the right. Here we are just in the middle engineers. We do that. So what's the expression we say? If props age is greater than 18, right? If props age is greater than 18, then choose subroute, or we will rename this route. We can say eligible voter. And not eligible, right? So if age is greater than 18, go for eligible voter. If age is less than 18, go for what? Not eligible vote, but we have not given any condition. You have to give any condition here, then go for not eligible. Right. Or what we can do is we can, instead of writing any expression, we can simply write true here. Do you understand why? Wow, so this is a trick. So let's say I know that I am only going to get two types of people. Someone whose age is greater than 18, and if not, then definitely his age is going to less than 18. So instead of writing a statement again, I'm not doing any comparison here. Okay, I know if you are not greater than 18, you are definitely less than 18. So this true means okay, this is true. Go for it. Okay, right? This will not evaluate. This means this will always run. This will always run. Whatever happens, this will always run. Understand that, but understand, but very first expression should be a variable, right? The very first one. I mean, you can do this also as true. If you write this as true, always this route will run, always this route will run. This will never run and there is no sense. Okay? It will always check sequentially the way it has been mentioned here. So first it will check for this condition. If this condition fails, only then this will check this one. So if I put a true here, this condition will never fail. It will always be true. So the below condition will never make any sense. Do I make sense? So this will this will keep on giving me an error and we do not join the route component. See, this will not even let me join because we route these. Smaller routes. So if this is eligible voter, here, if this is not eligible voter here. Okay, error's gone. Makes sense. Right at this to this row. So I'm just gonna give, you will just print a log. This log will say, what do you want to say? And we will just say the employee ID. Or we will say name, sorry. We will use the name because employee ID same get. The name is not. Oh, I will copy this log. We set here. Only change the property and say not eligible voter. Right. So we'll delete this right so it doesn't give us any errors. Okay, now retrieve log files. So what does? This is eligible voter ranker. Eligible voter a Jeep, not eligible voter. Test 1. Right? No, that's from the below component. This one, this log. Yeah, and since there was no message changing component after this CSV to XML, we see the same message here. I mean, we are over that, right? Yeah, so do you understand the route and strategies now? Okay, so it's series of conditions. We can, yeah. Let me also, since we are on this topic, let me also teach you how to validate. Now, this is one of the very most important components. Now this is, I do not want to proceed with an employee. When cat, I do not want to proceed with an employee who has failed my validation test. Right. So let's say, let me just create some fake employees. Okay, so I'm saying the name, test 2. I'm not giving any employee ID, right, blank. And then I'm giving some age 18. I'm saying test 3. I'm giving some empty ID 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. But I'm not giving any age. I'm putting the age as blank. So these two employees. So let's say If I have a system to identify whether a person is voter or not, don't you think employee ID and age is something what we can say as mandatory? Right parameters. Because yes, because it validates. Yeah, with age. And after once it got validates, and then it turns the some employee who does not even have age in the incoming file. Do you think I should waste my time on my integration giving it to route and my route saying it's not eligible? My route will always say it's not eligible because there is for when this employee will go. Age will have nothing. Right? Yeah, do I want to get in that scenario? I want to check beforehand only. Yes, whether the age is present or not, right? Right? So this MWell, what it will do is once it encounters an error, this will not let it proceed to the next component. Okay, this is the beauty. So okay. And the way it works is I think I have already or done something here. Let me try and add one. Okay, no, that's right. Okay, so how I can do that is I just use what's my age. Okay, I will use props age and I will say this is not equal to null. Okay, and then there was another one. What was that? That's employee ID, right? So the failure message I want to give will be put here. Show you that. So another one was apply ID. Okay, now I have. What message do I want to give? I want to say error processing. Employee and then I will give employee name. No employee ID. And I can use this variable, that T here. So okay, this is. Okay, we have to use the another one here. That is the at one. So we will use that. So some components support direct variables and some components. You have to use this property, that one, okay, the way you print it in logs. Okay, so this is how this will work here. No employee ID. Okay, and we copy this error processing employee. No. So if this is equal to not equal to null, then this error. And this is not equal to not null, it is the error. So when cat, if I were you, I would say aged. I think the condition is a bit wrong. I'm saying when employee ID is not equal to null, then give me this message, right? This is how anyone would think, but this is the condition. Do I want to check? But you don't think the condition should be opposite, that if employee ID is null, then this failure message will be printed. No, yeah. So the way it works is, okay, I told you that if we encounter error at this step, it will not proceed, right? Right. For Okay, so we have to give the passing instruction what I want to pass and what I want to obstruct. So the condition written here is if this condition is successful, it will let you pass that message. And if this condition is failing, it will obstruct the message. So it works in an opposite way. So the condition you want to pass the message for, okay, now, when do I want it to obstruct my message? I want to apply it is equal to null. Yeah, I have to write the condition for which I want this component to pass my message. Right. I want it to pass when my employee ID is not equal to null. This is confusing. I know you are not trying getting it right now. No if employee if employee ID is not now, then pass not next component. Next component if employee ID is now is equals to null, and then generate an error. Yeah, right. So this works a bit opposite. How I can correct it? So there is an option to choose this option. Okay, by default, this is true. If you select this as false, you can use the condition you wanted to use in the first go. Now, this would make sense when this is false. This is just a small trick. Many people don't know about it. Okay, you can try an experiment when you do it at home today. Okay, try and use this option. This will invert your condition. Oh, okay, but as of now it will trip this particular and well validated expression will trip this async mediation, but it does not know where to go when it encounters an error. So for that we are going to use. So if I hover my mouse around to a sink where a sink is written, I see these four components. One is create steps. This is custom error handler. This is create log error, and the last one is send error. So we always use send error. Now, whenever any error will be encountered in this async mediation, this send error will route it to the direct or the right component. Okay, so I'm going to copy from here as of now. We did a right. Root. Right. So you have to write it. Okay, I'm just copying because I've done it previously. One symlin because to make it tidy, I will put this async here then. Property of the symlin vertical middle. Then copy this, put it here. So I am basically enabling associating the error with a PM. So whenever I see an error, send me show me this error. Okay, just changing the summary bit here. Error in component. So I told you that this will be handled in. So I don't have a contextual error code. So let me remove this. Then there are messages, contextual error message, right component ID. Okay, so save and let's see. So when could? Initially we started with work of one component, and today see how our studio looks like. So do you feel that we have learned something or not? Okay, it has given me 2 errors, and I think both of those errors are C error in component icing mediation, where it expression error. Error processing employee test 3. So we see the error, what we had defined. Right. No, I'm fine. Right, yes, makes sense. Yes, and see what I told you was. So this put integration message. It's not just limited to the integration messages, it also changes the integration status. So how does this integration know that this is completed with errors with the severity level of my integration message, right? Got it. Yeah, and also we can change this error into a critical. We don't want to process. For example, let's say the age was not there, then apply ID was not there, and then we can stop the integration, and then we can fix it, and then we can turn it or based on our requirements. Yeah, we definitely can do that. So I'm going to explain you like when we should use critical and when we should use severity level errors. Okay. I mean, we have that error handling topic in our course detail. So don't worry, I'm just moving sequentially so that you know. So, as of now, I want to make sure we have everything for our master activity 1. So you're going to see, you're going to look at it and make it. I mean, this is like this easy. But I just want to make sure that you are acquainted with the Workday Studio, like way to drag the component from and all stuff. Okay. So this is going to be our master activity. Okay? So first you are going to create a write. You are going to like mimic a CSV file like we did. Yeah, only this will be a bit different. Then you are going to write an eval, and this is how you are going to define the string buffers, one for success, one for failure. Okay, and then this is how you're going to fetch that values. We have already done this. Okay, then you are going to use a splitter. I'm going to use a log here. This is how it will run. Now that we know that values are being captured, collected, basically you will validate whether the variables are working or not. Now we are going to create a route and we create a build strategy. Okay, so we are going to determine whether a student is pass or fail. If the marks is greater than 70, then it's passed, then or else he's failed. Great. So basically we have created failure log, success log. And they have also written. I did not use toString. Okay, that's my fault. If I would have used this function, you would have not seen this error. See, sometimes even we forget. Okay, then they are storing the file. And this is particularly how your studio look like. But since I have explained, you swim lane. I want to see proper coloring and everything. Proper, right? Okay. Alright, please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@upptalk.com.